creative friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're working on a spread using the Elle Studio July release. This is a really fun kit. It's got a lot of outdoorsy theme and summer themes. So it worked great to document this previous year where my family and I were doing a family bike ride. My kids were much younger in these pictures than they are now, but it's so fun to go back and document when they were little and we were doing lots of family stuff together. So off camera, I picked out the tags that I wanted to use and the pictures I wanted to use. On this particular adventure, we had a lot of pictures just of like scenery. We ended up seeing a lot of cute little animals in a local lake, and I wanted to include them, but I couldn't do a 3x4, 4x6 of all of them, or it would have just been all photos. So when I picked out the tags that I wanted to use from the kit, I picked ones that had block space in the middle. Now, most of them are probably meant for journaling, but as you'll see here, they don't have to be. I didn't really have a lot to say on this layout. It was pretty much, we went on a bike ride, we had fun, we saw a frog and a turtle. Not a whole lot of deep journaling. So I thought, hey, let me use these journal tags, but instead of putting words in them, I'm going to put small pictures. And so as you can see, I got a lot of pictures on this spread. Without it being just all pictures. There's still color and cardstock and embellishing and whatnot. So I'll also point out the tag at the top, the 4x6, it says memories, favorite, etc., is actually not a pre-made tag. It is from the Sunny Days paper pad. And I needed a not blank, but I needed kind of a filler card for that 4x6 space. And the ones that came in the kit had spaces for journaling or just didn't have the right look for the spread. And so I ended up making my own, which is really easy to do by just cutting down a piece of the 6x8 paper. So as you can see, I am just playing around with embellishments. I am using the cardstock stickers, the cardstock word sentiments, and several of the tags or labels from the embellishment part of the kits. I take some time to just move things around. There's a lot of green in this layout because of the greenery in the backgrounds, and so I wanted to pull out some colors besides green, and I end up pulling out some kind of pinkish red because my daughter's clothes are pink, and then there's also the pink and red up in that top tag. And then that one journal card on the right that says adventure obviously has that dark blue, so I end up pulling some blue out. And I think this makes for a good spread where it's not all one focal color like the green, but I'm using the green as the prominent color, but then I'm pulling out things that have other shades. For example, that fun that I just adhered has that dark navy, and it's also got the bluish teal that is the same color as the word adventure. So the Elle Studio kits come with a lot of labels, and you can also get extra labels. And sometimes I wonder what can I do with all of these labels? And you saw above, I was trying to make, and I come back to it in a little bit, sort of an embellishment cluster with the labels. The labels are an awesome way to add stamping if you don't want to stamp directly on your layout. I find that to be very scary. So I like to stamp on the labels and then adhere the labels down to my layout. And I believe I do that in a little bit. I'll pull out some stamps and do that. So right now, I really wanted to use this particular label that said Fun Adventure. That was a main product that I wanted to use before I started this layout. So I knew I had to find a way to use it. In this particular picture, there is a lot of blank space or white space up in that corner, so it was a perfect place to put some embellishment. Now, I pulled out one of the new stamp sets, and I used the word finished, or the stamp that says finished check mark. And although I don't document it exactly in my journaling, my son was so excited to go on a family bike ride, but as you can tell, he's little and he still has training wheels on his bike, so it was a little challenging for him, so he was so excited when we were finally done. So I thought that finished was very appropriate on a picture with him in it. So there's a lot of other small spaces on these tags, and those are, again, perfect places for stamping. And I absolutely had to put some stamps in those areas. Now, the one tricky part is that the stamps obviously have to be the right size and shape to fit those small blocks. And so I end up pulling out some older stamps. I think we'll see that in a little bit. Right at this moment, I think I'm debating what to do and how to fill in those blanks, so I'm moving on to some other places. I put down the cardstock embellishment at the bottom that says a beautiful sight to see. Thought that just fit really well in that spot. I'm also using the cardstock star embellishments on those two bottom pictures, and then at the top there's a label that has a star. So then I've got my 3 stars as a visual triangle. So here we're pulling out the stamp set from, I believe, June, the Sunshine stamp. I'm trying to see if any of the sentiments fit the spaces that I have left and have the right wordage. So I find this one that says enjoying the weekend, which is perfect, and it fits perfectly in the top right of that green journaling tag. So I'll stamp that in a little bit. Oh, and then here we go. I'm pulling out, again, some more older stamps. I can't remember what month that one was from, the Everyday Magic. Was that June as well? That might have been May. But if you have older Elle stamps in your collection, which I know I have a ton, even from before when I was on the design team, because I love Elle Studio stamps, pull them out and use them in your current layouts, because they never go out of style. They always work. And sometimes you'll find just the perfect sentiment on an older stamp that'll work with the tags that you're using or the pictures that you're using today. So that's perfect. I actually did that a couple times. I think I used 2 older stamps. And yes, you can see I did this made me smile under the little frog picture, which it did. We were so excited to see a little frog in the pond. And then I'm doing this enjoy the weekend. And then I pull out one older stamp to do at the bottom of that little turtle that we saw in the pond as well. And it fits perfectly. I think it says always remember these special moments. So I thought that sentiment fit well, and it was the right size that I needed. I am using a darker blue ink on this spread. It's one of my Catherine Pooler inks. That's a great ink for layouts if you haven't tried the Catherine Pooler inks. That's just a side note there. But I didn't want to put black ink on this spread. I do have some blank, I have some black words in type on a couple of the tags, but I really wanted to pull in more of that dark blue. So the ink that I use for my stamping is actually a dark navy blue, and I think it blends really well and adds a little bit of pop of blue without it being too bright. It's not bright. It's also not like a dark black. I think it just goes really well. And that's one of the things that I use my Catherine Pooler inks for. I have a lot of the collection of different colors. And so on a spread like this where I want to pull in certain colors, I will go to my ink selection and pick out maybe like a gray or a navy blue, something other than black, and I think it works really well. Now this tab cardstock sticker was something I also really wanted to use, enjoying the outdoors. It worked perfectly, and I was intent on finding a way to use it, and I think it worked out really cute putting it at the top of the tag. It just works as an embellishment. It's not actually something that you would pull out, but I love the green and I love the sentiment, and so it worked perfectly. I'm kind of finishing up my embellishing by pulling out the puffy hearts. I adore these puffy hearts. I have for years and years. I have them in all the colors, but this month we got bright yellow and orange, which is so appropriate for summer. And I liked pulling out the orange. I hadn't used those yet. And so I added 3 orange puffy hearts around my layout, again to get the visual triangle going. I am just writing a small amount of journaling in the bottom corner, just basically the stuff I've already told you. This was our first family bike ride. The kids were super excited to get started. And then I wrote the place where we went biking. So just simple journaling. It was really more about the pictures this time. And I really love how this came out. I really love all of the color and the pictures. And so if you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.